Damn it. Damn it. Damn it. Come on. This is a joke. Please. Yes! Yes! Finally something! You're fucking kidding me. Welcome to today's video, where we're going to not be shitting on a front page game. Well, at least mostly not shitting on a front page game. I've built up a bit of a reputation, haven't I? Whether it be B-Game, Blocks Fruit, Souls RNG, Strongest Battlegrounds, all of these popular games that get thrown onto the front page, and I tell you exactly why they're piles of garbage, and I tell you why I have no idea why so many people are playing them, they break my brain, etc., etc. And you know, that will probably continue, let's be perfectly honest here, because as you would probably guess, those videos do the best on my channel. Go figure. But this time around, we're gonna talk about an extremely old game that somehow still has people playing it, and isn't total dog ass. It's just kind of dog ass. And that game is, of course, Murder Mystery 2. I have a bit of a colored history with this game because it's been around for pretty much as long as I can remember. If you go to the timeline page on the Murder Mystery 2 wiki, and yes, I'm using a wiki, imagine that, we can see that the game itself was created on January 18th of 2014. That's 10 years ago. Yeah, this game's still around after 10 years. Boy, do I feel old. Now, the interesting thing about Murder Mystery 2, or more notably, Murder Mystery 1, is the fact that that game took a lot more inspiration from what this is obviously inspired by, which is Gmod's Murder. In the original game, in order to sort of make the game more interesting, it would set your character model to a default character model with a colored shirt as well as a randomized colored name. This would make it so that way you could use the chat, you wouldn't be able to directly go out of your way to target people, etc., etc. In the current iteration of Murder Mystery 2, this is not the case, I assume because Roblox has become a much more cosmetic-oriented game since then. But I do think it's a very large shame that this isn't still a thing. From my own unfortunate experiences, the game definitely has a problem where people see certain character models or remember people that they've been playing against, and will just go out of their way to kill those people first. And yeah, I died first a lot. A lot. Like, as in, I am the most unlucky person on the history of the planet. That, or people just wanted me dead, because I guess the bright pink egg-headed man needed to go. I don't know. Regardless, the game itself is borderline, if not completely identical to how it was back then. So nothing has changed in 10 years, and people are still playing. So the question is why? And that I can't really answer for you. And the thing is, it's really interesting to me because way back then, the murder genre on Roblox was pretty hotly contested. The two heavy hitters were, of course, Murder Mystery, but there was also Twisted Murderer, a game that is incredibly dead nowadays. Now, mind you, I'm glad that Murder Mystery won out over Twisted Murderer because you can just look at the game passes and vomit. For once, the Roblox player base did a good and didn't pick the incredibly pay-to-win vomit fest where one guy would get the murderer 80% of games with a bunch of ridiculously overpowered upgrades that made them borderline invincible. Speaking of upgrades, there's a fair few of them in this game too, and they're all pretty unique. Obviously, with some being more helpful than others. The default power that you unlock is the ability to see enemies' footsteps. This seems relatively underpowered on paper, but in practice, because so many people can hide and go into places that you don't know, as well as it just giving you information on how many people are around at any given time, it's honestly not that bad. The next two upgrades cost 1,000 coins each. The first is Sleight, which allows you to throw your knife faster, and the other one is Ninja, which I personally use, which makes it so when you stab people, it doesn't make any noise. The 3,000 coin upgrades are Sprint, which lets you sprint for 3 seconds. a fake gun, which gives you the ability to make your knife look like a gun for 10 seconds, which is just, it's kind of worthless. I don't know why it's there. Haste, which gives you the ability to just defaultly move faster while you're holding the knife out. And Trap, which lets you put down 3 traps when you're the murderer with a cooldown in between each trap. If someone walks on a trap, they get frozen in place for 4 seconds. And finally, the most expensive and most used abilities are Ghost and X-Ray. Ghost gives you the ability to turn invisible for 5 seconds, and X-Ray gives you the ability to see through walls for 4 seconds. Both of these obviously have a cooldown tied to them, so you can't use them all the time, but they're incredibly strong in their own rights. That being said, you can only use one power at a time, so if you're using Ghost, for example, you're still going to make a lot of noise when killing people. Overall, the gameplay is incredibly simplistic. As the murderer, your goal is to kill everyone. If you're the sheriff, your goal is to kill the murderer. And if you're an innocent, you've got a few options. You either want to survive and outlast the murderer, or get the gun from the dead corpse of the sheriff if they get killed, and then kill the murderer yourself. And I think it's this simplistic gameplay loop on top of the lack of pay to win that gives this game the staying power that it's had. It is admittedly a real shame that the developers of the game clearly don't give a shit about it and haven't for years, and I can't really say I blame them considering that the game is 10 years old, but still, basically absolutely nothing on a gameplay front has changed in a very, very, very long time. And there's some things that remain janky to this day, like the ability to throw the knife. I trashed on Twisted Murderer earlier, but in Twisted Murderer, the knife throw felt pretty good. And in Murder Mystery 2, it feels awful. It feels delayed, laggy, it's just not good at all. For me, this is one of these games that you can't really take very seriously. And that's mostly because, as I said earlier, I am the most unlucky human being alive. For the recording of this video, I figured I would barely play at all. I'd log on for like 20 minutes, get some good footage, and then get out of here. That did not pan out, and it's not because I was having a grand old time, it's because I just couldn't get anything done. Whether it be dying first as the sheriff, for fuck's sake! Or finally being the murderer, and then getting killed immediately after killing the first person by this person. Are you fucking kidding me? Who then, in a later round, would fire off shot after shot after shot at another murderer and miss every single time. How did this person kill me? Look at this guy! This guy sucks! How did he kill me on the first shot? I don't know. I'm an unlucky man. Or how about another time when I'm the murderer and I kill everyone and the last guy left is fucking cheating. They no-clipped on top of the map. Are you kidding me? I cannot catch a fucking break, now can I? Regardless, eventually I managed to win a round as the murderer, and that's when I decided to call it a day. But it's this sort of addicting gameplay loop of the ability for your murderer chance to go up every time you don't get it, and the ability to get frustrated at people that you're playing against and want to just play one more because you might get the murderer and you might finally be able to kill that jackass who killed you last round, or kill that useless sheriff who fired off 100 bullets and missed every single one. That's the kind of thing that would keep me playing back in the day. Now, reasonably, is that enough to keep 100,000 people playing it today after 10 years of the same shit? Probably not realistically. I think it clearly comes down to some classic Roblox algorithm shenanigans where it just continuously pushes this just because, but I mean, what can you do? It is what it is. Anyways, I feel like there isn't much else for me to say here. This was mostly a ramble video, but I wanted to put something out there because not every single thing on the front page is complete dog shit. There are some playable things, emphasis on some, and I think that this is one of them. And it's also a nice blast from the past for me because while most of the games that I played in my youth when I was still of the age that reasonably should be playing Roblox have long since died out, this is one of the games that's arguably more popular now than it was when I played it. However the hell that managed to happen. So if you want to play Murder Mystery 2, you can just go on the front page, it's probably there. I'll link it in the description anyway, and that's about that. If you enjoyed today's video, you can leave a like and subscribe. If you didn't, don't. And with all that being said, have a wonderful day or night wherever you are, and I'll see you guys next time.